we're back with another episode of Coffee with April. This time, we're gonna answer a Q&A. We got a bunch of questions coming in from basically you guys, and we selected a few of them, and we wanna share our answers, perspectives on that, hopefully giving you some insight in what we do here on a daily basis. So the question here is about roasting day or production day efficiency. So how can you as a roastery be more efficient in terms of roasting? And I've been working in a lot of different roasteries. I've been consulting a lot of different roasters over the years. And we obviously have a structure here at April. And what we want to do here is just share kind of what are we doing, what are we not doing, and why are we doing what we're doing. I should say, for the sake of the argument, that on a normal production day, we push out about 500 kilos of roasted coffee on a 12 kilo loring here behind me, which is, or 15 kilo loring, sorry, which I would argue is relatively efficient, at least. A big part of that is just the planning, the structuring, and how we deal with certain aspects of the roasting day in general. And this is important for a lot of different reasons. It's mainly important because consistency is going to increase the quality of your coffee, right? So you have two issues when you roast: one, to roast tasty coffee; two, to roast consistently tasty coffee, which I think the later one is the most challenging for most roasters around there trying to have tasty coffee. So what we do here at April is pretty simple. We start basically on a Monday with a deadline for orders at lunchtime. And this is one day before production. Now, why do we do that? Well, it's because historically, when roasting myself, I find that a lot of the issues, a lot of the mistakes you do as a roaster comes from alterations during production day, right? So a lot of roasteries have a structure where you come in the morning, you assemble all of the orders, you put them in, you schedule everything, and then you start roasting. And then you have a sales guy running in a few times every day, basically saying, oh, we need to add this for this customer, we need to add this for this customer. And historically, for me personally, that's where I've done the most mistakes. And starting April, I don't want any roasting mistakes. So we changed it. So having the deadline before and basically do zero compromising, we don't change this, right? Which again, some clients are not maybe happy with, but I like to believe that our clients are happy because they get consistently tasty coffee, and that's the most important thing here, to be able to be consistent in what we deliver. So we're working with a deadline before. What we do after that is basically scheduling everything in terms of roast. And we've done a video on this before, basically arguing that how you finish the previous roasts, what you do in between the previous roast and the new roast, is going to have a big impact on how the next roast will roast in terms of consistency, which is also why we can't allow to add on new batches on production day, because we have a clear schedule based on this, right? So roast profiles are basically combined together with a certain roast before to allow us to be more consistent throughout the production day. On top of that, what we do on before production day as well is that we prepare all of the bags that we do. So the benefit of having the orders done in terms of deadline early on is that it gives us the afternoon on Monday to basically prepare all of the bagging, which can take a fair amount of time, be a bit of a distracting factor on production day. I like to only roast on production day. I want to roast, pack, ship coffee. That's what we're doing. That's what we're focusing on. We're not doing anything else in that structure. Now, another part of it is actual production day. How do we structure it? When I say we do 500 kilos on a 15 kilo machine, using 12 kilo batches, I'm basically arguing here that, I should mention that we're doing this on 2 people, sometimes 3 people, depending on the amount of small bags. So if we have a 250 gram bag, that will take more time to pack than a 1 kilo bag. That's pretty self-explanatory, right? So we do that, we pack everything by hand, manually. It's a big misconception that machines are faster than humans. They're not. Humans just need to work faster. And so what we do here is that I come in the mornings, meaning 5 o'clock, I put on the roaster, we have a 30-minute heating up protocol, we start the first batch, and I basically roast for 1.5 hours, and then our team members are coming in at 7 o'clock, and that's where we start our bagging, that's when we start pushing everything. I should mention as well the shipping labels, all of this, again, done the day before, not on production day. The reason why I'm starting by myself in the morning is that we actually don't need to be more people. Which is kind of important to understand here, right? So we're trying to be as efficient as possible, not as comfortable as possible, right? So I should say that our production days are very much work. We don't take any breaks. We roast until we're done, like can be 8, 9, 10 hours. Continuous roasting to some degree, but we don't turn the machine off. We do roast in shifts these days, so we usually have 1, 2, or 3 different shifts. Could be 3 different people actually roasting on production day, but it's important for us to push that through, and we work very, very hard on our InBetween protocol, which these days is basically down to roughly 1 minute and 45 seconds in between each batch. And we're doing that continuously with a certain protocol to make sure that our temperature starting every roast is going to be very similar, right? On top of that, again, we had the green coffee scheduled. We had the same batch size, which also helps us be more consistent, carry over more energy from roast to roast to roast, right? So I think that's a few plans to kind of sum it up for you that made the question. Plan as much as you can the day before. Prioritize, right? What's your focus here as a company? April's focus as a company is making really tasty coffee consistently, which is prioritized over everything else, right? So if someone call us on production day and say, we want to add this order, we kindly say that we can roast it on another production day because we have a structure here that's gonna make our coffee tastier. And that's, I think, personally for me, very, very important. So that's why we're focusing on that. I mean, I do see a lot of roasters around the world, let's say roasting less than the volumes we do, and maybe roasting it on several days, which is fine if that's how you want to do it. Again, it's up to all of us to find the systems that works for us. I'm not saying that our system is necessarily better than other systems. I'm just answering a question about efficiency and how we're structuring it from an April perspective. And hopefully that can help you guys get a better understanding for it as well. I think that was all we had today. Again, structure, consistency, planning is a big part of roasting good coffee. Plan everything ahead. Plan, when do you empty your shaft? Have it in a sheet, have that controlled. I've been roasting for 7, 8 years and we still never had a fire, for example, right? Having a fire when you roast is because someone hasn't planned properly or someone is not focusing enough on what they're doing, right? If you're working with separate gas bottles, when are you supposed to change those gas bottles, right? Have a process for it, plan in advance, and you're gonna find that your roasting is way more consistent. As always, thank you guys for watching. If you have any other questions, just write them down here. We're always happy to answer. Thank you guys.